Hello and welcome to today's video. A little while ago, I did a review of this product. This is the refillable notebook from Papersaver, which is an Australian brand that makes sustainable and responsible stationery products. So this notebook refill is you could get your scraps of paper, A4 printer paper, fold them in half and put them in, and it comes with this little organizer. And it's wonderful. I really enjoy it. You can watch my earlier review of it on my channel. I'll link to it down below. So this particular thing we're looking at today though, however, is kind of like a bit of an accessory or evolution of what this brand does. So obviously, as I said, it's designed for those A4 printed pages that are printed on one side, fold them in half and write on the other side. But a lot of places just don't have access to that much paper. So Papersaver have researched and developed this product. This is the Stone Paper Notebook Refill. So today I'm going to be doing a quick review of this and I'm going to show some paper, some ink tests and things in it to show how Stone Paper reacts. Now, I've reviewed a number of Stone Paper products in the past from a couple of different brands. And my first caveat point is do not use fountain pens. Avoid wet liquid ink pens and things like that. This paper just doesn't love them. But if you're writing with pencils, ballpoints, things like that, this is a really great option. And by that, I mean Stone Paper in general, but today specifically, this Stone Paper Notebook Refill from Papersaver. So what is Stone Paper? Well, it is just like regular paper, but eco-friendly and not made from trees. It says it right there on the front. This particular notebook has lined stone paper, 112 pages, lay flat Coptic stitch binding. It's 15 centimeters by 21 centimeters, which is A5, and compatible with the Papersaver reusable notebook global range. Stone paper is made from like byproducts, or sort of like the offcuts, if you will, of stone industry such as quarrying, and it is turned into like a dust and then mixed with something like a resin, and then made into sheets of paper. Is it actually paper? Well, that's going to be up for debate for a while. I have opinions that it's not technically paper, but it does function as paper in the broad sense, shall we say. A traditional kind of makeup of this paper is like 20% resin and 80% limestone powder. So that gives you an idea. It does mean the paper weighs considerably more. Like this has a relatively high GSM. It's like 144 grams per square meter, but it's still only 120 microns thick. So it is super, it's not particularly thick paper, but it is super heavy. On the back here, we get a little bit more information, reuse and refill again and again. The Papersaver Stone Paper Notebook Refill fits perfectly into the Papersaver reusable notebooks, designed for you to write better for our environment. So crafted from stone, 100% tree-free, no water, acid or bleach used. Another great feature, no water used. Love that. And then waterproof and tear resistant, which I'll show you in some of that in a second. Paper designed to handle anything from coffee spills to water bottle leaks. Great thing about it is literally that, like, you can spill water on this, and like one pen I use a lot with mine is the Fisher Space pen. So I've got the bullet pen here. The Fisher Space Refill is one of my favorite ballpoint refills. It writes beautifully on the paper, but also it's super indelible and will write on anything. So it makes for a great partnership with this paper. Silky smooth writing. Let your pen flow effortlessly across our grain-free paper and ink won't bleed through. Very true. The bleed on this is very, very low. So even if you do decide for whatever reason to use liquid inks like fountain pen, rollerball, even some markers and things, bleed through is very, very minimal. And some social media and stuff there about Papersaver. It says designed in Australia, made in PRC, so the People's Republic of China, as a lot of these, particularly stone paper products, are. So I've been talking a lot about this. Let's actually have a look at it here in the Papersaver reusable notebook. So one thing you can see straight away here is this is that lay flat binding, and it really does lay flat with very minimal effort here. I love the layout of the lines of this page. They don't go to the edge. They're nice and sort of a rich dark grey. They're fairly wide lines. Personally, I prefer a slightly closer line, but there's this does look nice and it writes very, very well. So as I say, it goes over. The notebook cover has this metal bar that runs down the middle, on ribbon as well, and you just put the notebook through the middle of that, and then it fits into the cover like such. It's a great product, love it. I really enjoy. So I'll just show you. So this is the personal organizer. I'll take this out just for the moment. So this is the cover, and then you've got that bar down the middle there, and then you take half the notebook, you put it underneath the bar, slide it through, and then you've got your notebook in the cover. I really like the Paper Saver notebook, reusable notebook cover, and I really like this notebook. So here is my writing test. Now, here's a great example of the fact that you've got slow dry times on this paper, because it is very glossy. It's got that plasticky kind of content. It's not plastic, but it's got that kind of content in it. So anything that is wet does take a while to dry. These were fountain pen inks. I just did a couple here, as well as a fountain pen writing example, just to sort of show how they write on there. And the way the rollerball here, like the fountain pens have performed okay, but the way the rollerball, that's just a Lamy rollerball. Like that, when I wrote the line, it was no wider than the fountain pen there. And then it's just ballooned out because it just sort of sits on the paper. Whereas the ballpoint looks great, gel pen looks good, fine liner looks great. Pencil's okay, it doesn't rub out the best. Highlighter looks good. Sharpie, if you look at the reverse, like as they said, there's no bleed. Like you can see through it, but there is no bleed whatsoever. And yeah, everything kind of looks nice, apart from that rollerball. So we say don't use fountain pens, don't use rollerball on stone paper, but ballpoints, gel pens, fine liners, things like that, even some markers all work really, really well. Another issue with fountain pens is that, and I don't know how substantiated this is, I haven't seen anything of it myself, simply because I don't use fountain pens on stone paper that much. I need to do writing samples like this. But people say there is an abrasive sort of quality to the paper, so maybe avoid using your expensive nibs particularly on it, just in fear of maybe over or repolishing the nib slightly. Just something to be aware of. I'm just going to do a writing sample on the page right now here with the Fisher Space Pen. So we have the Paper Saver. Stone paper notebook refill, and this is a Fisher Space Pen. I really enjoy, as I said, I really enjoy the Fisher Space Pen, and I enjoy it on this paper. When I've used other stone paper notebooks, I've used that the same as well. But one thing you do realize, or you do see, is that there's a little bit of imprint made through, because it is a softer paper. As I said, it's sort of tear resistant. It took a bit of effort to get that to tear, unlike sort of regular paper that would tear straight away. But, that's the kind of paper, well, as I said, paper that stone paper is. So there are definite pros and definite cons to this notebook, and I'm talking about this specific notebook now. So big pro is the price point. It's around $12.90 Australian, which is a really, really reasonable price point. For 112 pages, I think it's actually really, really great. I love the lay flat binding, and in this kind of notebook cover, that is a necessity, and they've nailed it. That style of binding, that what I call open thread glue binding, the Coptic binding, works beautifully for lay flat, and particularly for a book that's going into a notebook cover. I love how simple they've kept it. They've got their little logo on the back, and that's kind of it. They're kind of minimalist, all of that kind of stuff. I'm really appreciative of the sustainable and responsibility that has been taken in these notebooks. So there's this thing called Cradle to Cradle, and that is a sort of like a certification of the responsibility, if you will. And it talks about sustainability and stuff, but not just about the environment, but also it talks about the social and economic elements of it all. And this is Cradle to Cradle certified. So super sustainable, and all stone paper is, but we're talking about this one, super sustainable, responsible, environmentally friendly, as that there's no tree involved in it, there's no water involved in it, no bleach, nothing like that. So it's a really enjoyable product. If you're a ballpoint user particularly, this is so nice. And it's a great companion to the Paper Saver refillable notebook cover. If you're not using those sort of, recycling your own printed sheets and things like that, this is a really great option because it can, for a really reasonable price point, just be bought as a refill to carry in this notebook. So you're not having to replace the cover every time. You're just getting this very simple, minimalist, easy, clean packaged, recyclable little notebook. So this was, as I said, the Stone Paper Notebook Refill from Paper Saver. A big thank you to Paper Saver for sending this out. I think it's a great product. It writes beautifully. It fits the need absolutely bang on, and it does everything that a sustainable and responsible, socially and environmentally responsible company should be looking at. So like and subscribe, hit the notifications button, all that kind of stuff. If you've got products you think I should be looking at, I'd love to hear from you. And in the meantime, enjoy your notebooks, and I'll talk to you soon.